Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card and earn unlimited rewards. The time by Sagicor Bank is...
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Brought to you by
Horizon, a new loan product from Access Financial Services.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people never say we are mash up the night. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't put it down. Shine your lights on.
Coming up in CVM News, NSWMA threatened with court action following fire at retirement dump site. Market war, public health crisis looms. Bullying in schools 2025 study reveals serious concerns. In news overseas, high-stakes negotiations between the US, Iran and Pakistan enter a critical phase. And later on in sports, Bunny Show's hat-trick fires reggae girls past Antigua and Barbuda. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Saturday, April 11, 2026. I am Carolyn Brown. Thanks so much for joining us. Councillors set to bring legal action against the National Solid Waste Management Authority for the relocation of the dump are adamant the retirement disposal site in St. James must be removed. They claim for them mounting pressure is unmanageable, and for residents it's unbearable with mounting demands for compensation of medical bills. Details on the management of the April 4 fire and the resulting implications in this report from Damien Phillips.
With all of this, we apologize, and we are doing our best to ensure that this smoke nuisance ends as quickly as possible.
Words of comfort, or so they thought, from representatives with, among other things, the mandate to manage the retirement dump in St. James. Residents in the immediate vicinity of the dump and some afar off have been anticipating breathing a sigh of relief after days of suffering from smoke inhalation with contaminants that impact their health.
I have to turn off my phone. I couldn't take any more calls. This morning, from retirement to Hanover, was blanketed with thick smoke.
The fire started on April 4. A theory put forward that fire is oftentimes brought to the dump when trucks clean up after roadside business operators.
When they finish at night, they put the garbage with the fire and the truck pick it up and take it to retirement dump. That's my understanding. It start from a truck, empty the garbage, start there.
Our teams, especially our night teams, they are advised to look through whatever waste is being collected to ensure that this is not done. However, not saying that anything may not be able to escape, and that's why we take the extra care in terms of ensuring that we do once a year trading, especially as it relates to safety, customer relations, etc., with our teams to ensure that they're properly educated.
The same weekend, the St. James Municipal Corporation worked to bring the situation under control with emergency protocols brought into effect. At the time of the regular sitting of the monthly meeting, officials insisted smoke emission would be zero that same afternoon, but this was rubbished by councillors as unrealistic.
We're about between 35 to 45% coverage after approximately 1 acre that was in smoke, and as of today, we are down to about 25% of what the smoke that was initially there, estimated.
I heard him, gentleman, talking about 25% covered, or to covered. I would say 100% leave to be covered.
Michael Troop, no stranger to court proceedings, was adamant that the retirement dump cannot remain where it currently is, and as such will be making legal steps to have it relocated.
Mayor, we're going to form a citizen association, and we're going to put solid waste management to the court. We cannot live in this condition because of it. We must find a way for the citizens of Granville to take national solid waste management to court. And we are working on that. And I'm going to give them notice. I'm giving them notice, Mayor, that we are going to take them to court. It cannot continue. When it's that dump, it's garbage.
It just cannot continue, he added, noting that Granville Pit 4 and other communities are residential areas, and residents deserve a much better living environment. Illegal dumping still an issue at the site. Councillors lamenting the Waste Management Authority isn't being proactive as it ought to. And while a solution is sought to prevent illegal dumping and fires, questions of compensation for vulnerable victims. Solid Waste now called upon to give financial reprieve to residents in a show of compassion.
Does a Solid Waste have a system where people can get some of the bills, medical bill reimbursed for these fires in the dump?
So you're suing too? You're suing too?
No, I not sue them, you know. Me just said to them is that you must have a system because these people can't sue. They're not going to have lawyers, but them are, the kids, everybody, them have to go and get all of these because of the respiratory problems. Type 5 and all of them places will soon start show that a higher number of people coming in. So how do we really find a way to help alleviate the suffering of the people when the dump catch on fire?
For CVM News, I'm Damon Phillips.
The Sugar Company of Jamaica Holdings Limited, which submitted complaints to the St. James Municipal Corporation about the growing issue of illegal occupation and unauthorized sale of government-owned former sugar lands, say the situation has escalated beyond informal squatting, with some individuals now illegally subdividing and selling lands to which they have no legal claim. Managing Director Nigel Myrie says SCJ Holdings Limited, SCJH, has already commenced coordinated enforcement actions with municipal corporations in Trelawney and St. Thomas, where notices have been served to persons engaged in unauthorized occupation and construction. He adds that the SCJH is now in possession of the names of individuals identified as ringleaders in these illicit land transactions involving SCJ-owned properties. The company has implemented several measures, including the installation of no trespassing signs, issuance of cease and desist orders, and notices to vacate. He indicates that the organization is prepared to escalate enforcement where necessary. including the pursuit of legal action, including seeking court orders to facilitate the removal of illegal structures at the occupant's expense. A major review is underway by Jamaica's Parliamentary Ethics Committee as concerns are being raised about how members of Parliament disclose information and adhere to ethical standards. Here's more from Kevin Black.
Jamaica's Parliamentary Ethics Committee is now flagging gaps in accountability as it reviews how members of Parliament are held to ethical standards. Committee Chair Marlene Malahufort says new information has raised questions about the accuracy of details provided by a member of Parliament, prompting a formal review.
The accuracy of information provided by the member in question, as recorded in the minutes, has been called into question in light of subsequent publication in the public domain, and the member is therefore being asked to return to the committee to provide clarification on the answers given.
Ford says the member has been asked to return for clarification as the committee seeks to determine whether all information provided to the House was complete and accurate.
So the recommendation from the committee would be for the establishment of a register of interest in order for the full disclosure of any interest which is likely to cause a conflict of interest to be disclosed. So we may need to address our minds around how we would bring those matters to this committee for deliberation.
She says that the committee is also calling for a formal register of interests to strengthen disclosure requirements and align Jamaica with other jurisdictions.
So what is clear is that if the code is not signed by members, then the committee would not be able to discharge its duty of receiving, investigating, and reporting on any complaints of departure by members from the code. Well, these are matters that we have to discuss as we are looking at the functions of the committee.
Kevin Black for CVM News.
Now, while concerns are being raised about inappropriate behavior at shelters in schools, another silent issue is also brewing: bullying. A 2025 study sponsored by the Ministry of National Security shows bullying continues to be a serious concern in Jamaican schools. Akeem Orit tells us more.
A school is a place designed for teaching and learning, typically providing formal education for children or specialized training. But for some students at school, their reality is different. A 2025 survey found that 45.2% of students in all male schools reported experiencing bullying. Co-educational schools not too far behind with 40.2%, while 27.8% of students in all female schools reported similar experiences. These figures highlight that nearly half of the students in all boys schools experience bullying, underscoring a persistent challenge for schools across the island. Vice President of the Jamaica Association of Principals for Secondary Schools, Mrs. Aniona Jones, says any instance of bullying is of grave concern to administrators.
We believe that schools should be a place where students, regardless of where they're from or whatever is happening anywhere else, can enter and feel welcomed and safe enough to express themselves, to learn how to be and how to become. And so bullying is a major concern for us as school administrators at all levels, because let's not forget, it happens at every level of the system, from early childhood all the way to tertiary.
While physical bullying has long been the main form of bullying over the years, the JAP's vice president notes cyberbullying is now haunting students.
WhatsApp groups, TikTok humiliation, videos out there, Instagram. Well, we use less of Twitter in Jamaica, but definitely Instagram, definitely TikTok, and absolutely WhatsApp. And creating those WhatsApp groups and TikTok and Instagram groups, such as the whatever school mix-up pages. And this is now where persons are photoshopping the pictures, the images of students onto the bodies of other students, and definitely bringing them down that way.
But for some students, they are not only being bullied by their peers, sometimes teachers too are at fault.
As a teacher, I think it is grossly unbecoming And it really makes it very difficult for those of us who've dedicated our lives, especially to be in tough circumstances and work with children who don't always come with their best behavior. As an administrator, it's a zero tolerance, personally. I do know that we have procedures like anywhere else, and everyone is entitled to their day in court. And there are instances where we do have to take that kind of approach and follow the books to ensure that this adult is aware that you have a duty of care to the nation's children.
School administrators have since launched crackdown rules, including the removal of devices in learning spaces and putting firewalls within the institution to slow down things being shared. In the meantime, Mrs. Jones is issuing this warning to parents.
Parents, if your child is a bully, it has to be dealt with from you, the school, and if needs be, the law. Because we're no longer going to be tolerating the taunts and just targeting students and just tearing them down. That child may end up fighting back, and we want no more instances of physical violence and sometimes even deaths within our schools. So it has to definitely stop now, from a culture of respect and no tolerance for bullying of any form within the school space.
Akeem Oret for CVM News.
Meanwhile, Jamaica's Child Diversion Act is under fresh scrutiny as legal stakeholders examine how the system handles young offenders. The Director of Public Prosecution is urging key amendments to speed up referrals and clarify how children enter and complete diversion programs. Kevin Black reports.
As lawmakers review Jamaica's Child Diversion Act, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is pushing for changes to improve how young offenders are treated. Child diversion is a program designed to keep children who come into conflict with the law out of the formal court system, focusing instead on rehabilitation and behavioral correction. Director of Public Prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, says prosecutors should have the power to directly refer children to diversion rather than only making recommendations to the court.
We want to be able to refer matters as opposed to just making recommendations, which is less power than the constable has. Yeah. And secondly, how does the child demonstrate his acceptance of responsibility? We would like for that to be cleared up, because as has been said, if demonstrating responsibility in a criminal setting requires a guilty plea, then whether you have gone to diversion or not, you have pleaded guilty.
Committee member Isaac Buchanan questioned whether court involvement is necessary at the final stage of diversion, noting that in most cases, completed programs simply result in the matter being closed.
The Act, as I understand it, would say that when the child completes child diversion, then the matter pretty much is disposed of automatically, isn't it? Yes. On the basis that the child diversion is done. I think the only difference is where we have the guilty plea dilemma.
Meanwhile, Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions, Dwayne Green, says delays in the justice system continue to undermine the effectiveness of the program.
One of the issues highlighted with delay is that the offender is placed before the court when he's 16 or 17. Now, when you encounter a circuit that has 300 matters for 4 weeks or 400 matters for 4 weeks, when it does get to his day, he's 21. What that now creates is, can he now be sent to diversion? We believe as an office, if we're able to address, for example, the delay issue, we can make this legislation more practical, we can make it more beneficial.
Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
And we will continue with more here on CVM News at 7 right after this.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Brought to you by
Horizon, a new loan product from Access Financial Services.
the internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
I'm me, the stylist, no scam and style me.
From the market to the farm to the office, money talk is everywhere. But are you making sense or nonsense? The Bank of Jamaica brings you Common Sense with BOJ. Real stories, real laughs, and real lessons to help you protect, grow, and manage your money. Mattress savings.
At least my mattress. You charge me to sleep on it.
Partner plan.
Remember last year we needed our payouts early? But Miss Pam gave it to her cousin first.
Or a sketchy loan flyer.
Electrifying deals.
See why making the right financial choices is pure common sense. Brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, empowering everyday Jamaicans one episode at a time.
Grandpa, it's 2026. You can't keep hiding all your money in every single pocket forever.
Welcome back. There's a complaint this evening of over $30 million in unpaid vending fees at the Charles Gordon Market in St. James, while a public health crisis looms. It's all led to a war of words between the Mayor of Montego Bay and vendors amidst claims of poor representation, lack of care, and counted claims of selfish and ungrateful attitudes, amounting to a lack of personal and national pride. As we hear in this report from Damian Phillips, customers are being caught in the middle.
A public health distress. Vendors at the Charles Gordon Market sounding the alarm to customers and the relevant authorities that things could get real nasty at the market.
When the market closed at 4, we have to use the gutter, we have to use bag for urine. We don't have nobody back, we don't know if it beard. Me go a bush last week and come back and me rank, we don't know if it beard. We don't know proper bathroom, we don't know if it use. No, when it gets in 5 o'clock, the market dark, no light.
It's be going until the market fix.
We want the market to fix that we stay inside.
Market life and the adjustments made to occupying the premises becoming frustrating for so many. Consider these produce placed on the ground that make their way onto your dinner table. Vendors say their health is being compromised and they are trying to also be mindful of their customers.
We have to use bleach so we can sell. Bacteria, 2 weeks me sick. 2 weeks me sick because the bacteria. The market stink. Mr. Mackenzie, we need justice. Mr. Mackenzie, we need justice.
Maggot pull the market when I reach with a back on us. Maggot and not clean the market.
Vendors searching for answers from government as to why they were placed in this location if it isn't convenient for hosting them. No roofing at this section of the market, metal dangling from above, sometimes falling to the ground and threatening the safety of persons. Rainfall and additional pain for those who use the facility. Some are of the view that they are just not being respected.
When the rain come, I have to go under there. No recompense, nothing at all.
They put we inside here. Sun burning up our goods. Rain come wet up our goods. We are no proper place inside the market. What? And I can't send it, but they must tell me now. Tell me if you find place to go. How comes?
And at the worst I ever see this market. How then put you back in the market without a market tap? A peer at the iron. You can't tap in anybody head anytime, Was close we sell, we have to sell close in the rain. When rain fall, the market settle with water. Not even light, nothing in the market. We tell that this they need to fix the market, man. A 6 months now when the market stays same way, nobody represents it.
Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, said a meeting was held with vendors in March to discuss the way forward, adding there were no surprises for vendors who were told they would have to use the facility instead of creating a public nuisance on the roadway and inconveniencing the formal business sector.
The theme coming out of the meeting on the 24th was that we will improve it while we use it. In other words, we do not have the money to do the complete rehabilitation of the market facility immediately. but we will do so gradually.
The mayor told CVM News that vendors should not be ungrateful, adding that every effort is being made to improve the facility for a safe and a secure environment to conduct business.
While it is not the best of situation at the Charles Garden Market, and by the way, we are improving that, it is better than what exists on the street. They complain of roof missing, roof leaking before it was missing. No roof is on the street. We encourage them to go inside of the market, continue to use their tarpaulins and other things such as their umbrella to cover until we repair the market. The market was insured. We are getting insurance money shortly, and that money will go towards repairing the roof completely.
The mayor didn't mince words about the delinquency of the vendors, leeching on the public purse and its offerings. The mayor indicating that by law they are mandated to provide a marketplace but not for operations at significant losses in the millions.
These shops are at a rate of $1,500 per week. And at the moment we have an outstanding balance of $30 million because they refuse to pay. We also have to fund the operation of Charles Garden Market at a loss of $50 million annually.
We go now to a business report from Joel Crossgill.
Delayed but not denied. The celebration of those recognized as life guardians during a calendar year in which the sector was tested by uncertainty overseas and a climatic crisis locally was given added nuance by the address of Megan Miller-Brown, president of Guardian Life Limited, during the 26th staging of its annual awards, where the efforts of the Guardian Life kin in safeguarding the futures of families across the island were rewarded.
You are not selling a new smartphone or a luxury car. You are selling an intangible promise. You are selling dreams, legacies, peace of mind and security. I commend you for your integrity, your work ethic and your excellence. For every 100 doors that close, you walk through the 101st. You do this because you are passionate about the outcome for a family. And not only for a family, for yourself and for your company.
Activities that are often only appreciated during a client's most vulnerable moments.
You are the guardians of the promise. You are the reason why we achieved overall insurance revenue of $24.7 billion, a 12% growth over 2024. And you are the reason we paid out $13 billion in health, individual life claims, annuity payments, and deposit admin refunds. That is excellent. That is passion in action. That outcome was $2.25 billion in individual life API and a record $10.31 billion in employee benefits new business.
It's a diligence that has resulted in the work that Guardian does getting broader recognition.
I saw it in our 2025 net profit of $9.15 billion, or return on capital employed of 19%, or strong LICAT or solvency ratio of 271.9%. But I didn't just see numbers. I saw performance at its best in a very challenging year.
A performance that has allowed the group to contribute significantly to strengthening Jamaica's healthcare sector, with funds to support the procurement of medical equipment for the Bustamante Hospital for Children and the Noel Holmes Hospital as well, with proceeds from the Shine 5K night run in Kingston on May 23 and Montego Bay on May 30, going to support the Kingston Public Hospital, Falmouth General Hospital, and Project Star.
Sometimes in the daily grind of emails, meetings and targets, we forget the weight of what we do. Passion-driven excellence means remembering that behind every policy number is a heartbeat. Behind every claim form is a broken heart. We don't just have a job, we have a vocation. We are the architects of stability in a chaotic world.
And that was your business report. I'm Joel Crossgill.
Stay with us for sports. Up next with Orville Higgins.